What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. It is the 8th day of March, and here we are at about $67.3 thousand, roughly 9 hours left in the day. Hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you all for being here. It is the weekend. It is Sunday, and we haven't really done a whole lot since the beginning of February. And I know for a predominant bit of this, I was expecting that we'd see a lower low. Maybe we do get that lower low now. And I want to be clear, if and when we do go lower, at least at this point, I wouldn't expect that we'd see too much of a lower low. That's not to say that if we don't see a lower low, if we do just keep consolidating in this range, we just keep moving sideways, consolidating in this range, just like we did here, okay? We keep doing something like that. That's not to say that once we break through this, inevitably, that it won't go lower, right? We probably do see a more dramatic lower low. But at this point in time, if we were to see any lower low at all, I would expect it behaves the exact same way as this high, where as soon as we got above this high, that's the point at which we sold off. As soon as we get below that low, that's the point at which we pump, right? Every pump is going to get dumped into, every dump is going to get pumped into, probably until, at the earliest, late April, mid-April, but likely some point in May or June, right? We're probably not going to break out of this range until May or June. I know that a lot of people got their hopes and hearts and desires set on sell in May and go away. It's not sell in May and go away. For Bitcoin, it's actually more common to see sell in June and go away. There's plenty of times where if you sold in May and went away, it worked out for you, but sell in June and go away has actually worked out better. There's couple of instances where sell in April and go away has worked out better than sell in May and go away. But the point being here, it's March. I don't think that we're going to make any significant movements down, right? Even if we are still to see lower prices, just like in a bull market, you don't just move up consistently without consolidating. You know what I mean? You have to consolidate, take your time, shake out the weak hands, let people make the wrong decisions, and then we make our move, right? On the note of those wrong decisions, be aware, my friends, I think the market makers are having a field day with you if you're trading, okay? As soon as we get below here, this point of support, as soon as we get below there, that's where we found support. We broke through support. We're supposed to go lower. That's where we found support. As soon as we broke above this trend line here, as soon as we did, that's where we found resistance and we sold off. Whenever we broke above this point of resistance here, that's where we sold off, okay? We look at this on the 4-hour time frame. Carrying that same kind of thought, we've broken through this trend line here. I would assume that we do move up. I would assume we move up. Now, the question that I keep asking myself, and I've been thinking about this before I made this video, I really am not confident in this. I'm confident that we move up from here. I'm just not confident in how far we move up. You know, a couple days ago, I was pretty confident that when we move up from here, it'll just generate this next move to take us above this high. Now I'm not so sure. Maybe we move up, maybe we backtest this trend line, or we go above it, we go just below it, whatever, but we make a slight move up like we did here where you're breaking out of your downtrend, or like we did here where we're breaking out of this downtrend, but we still get the lower high and we still move lower nonetheless. So I am, again, because of this trend line here and the fact that we haven't had any kind of movement up, I am expecting, we're at the end of this week, we're about to open up a new week here, that we open up this new week to the upside. But from there, the question is, do we continue to build? Do we get this higher high? Or do we come back down to the bottom ends of this range? Because again, the main thought is that throughout this range, every pump gets dumped into, every dump gets pumped into, right? It's just, and we're really not going to move too much to the upside or too much to the downside until late April at the earliest. It's not late April, it's the very beginning of March, okay? We look at our 4-hour indicators. The RSI is bearish. It's in bearish control right now, but for what it's worth, you know, we go back to the beginning of February here, since this drop has happened, every time that we've been right here where we are now has been a point at which we bounced. This one was a little bit higher. Whenever we bounced here, actually right here, we did see a lower low first. And then when we bounced, we did not get the higher high. We actually produced a slightly higher low and then a lower high, and then we went lower. Right? Screwy kind of price action. Ranges within ranges, right? this whole range right here can be identified as this. But when I say ranges within ranges, we had downward sloping trend here, downward sloping trend here. We broke out of it, it's so bullish. We broke out of it, it's so bullish. But each time it was just a lower high and inevitably bringing us to a relative lower low, not a lower low overall. Maybe we're in some type of a range now. However it's supposed to be drawn, I don't know. Maybe it's like this, and we need to see a slight movement up before we move lower. I would think if we can't get above on a 4-hour closing basis, if we can't close above $69,000, that might be a problem. If we make an attempt, we see wicks above it like we did here, but we close below it, and we're coming back down to this like 67K area, that would likely imply that we go lower and potentially to the base of this range overall. Again, there is a scenario where we could see, again, a slightly lower low here, a slightly lower low than $60,000. We could break right below 60K and still from there recover and even come up and see higher highs. We've been so screwy. And the whole purpose of this, I think, is to cause max pain for anybody who's bored in trading. So not financial advice, not a financial advisor. The same kind of thought that I have here as I had back here, and really throughout all this, is that the best thing to do right now is probably just to stack cash. Stack cash. If you want to put money into Bitcoin, it's certainly a good time to do that. If you don't want to stack cash, then stack Bitcoin, but don't trade. Don't trade, okay? It's definitely not a good time to trade. If you have a successful track record of trading, don't let me tell you what to do, okay? You're good. You got it. Awesome. Good. If you don't have a successful track record with trading, maybe stacking cash is the best thing and waiting for the next dip. But again, in that kind of context, and I was actually talking to a friend about this yesterday, you know who you are. He made a very valid point that, earlier, before I had accepted it was the bear market, I was very much advocating buy the dip, buy the dip. And now here we are at a buy the dip moment, and I'm not really saying that as much. Like this is very, very clear, right? And any dip is a buy the dip moment, but this is obviously a moment of generational integration into the crypto markets, right? Like if you're trying to invest, there's not a single person who's buying between these levels here who's going to feel like an idiot in 1 year or 2 years, right? Even if we go lower, and we likely do, we likely will. For a second there, I was entertaining this idea that we could go below 50K by the end of this cycle, the end of this bear market. I don't think we will. I don't think that we do go below 50K, or if we do, it will be oh so slightly below 50K, but I don't think we will. Here we are at 67K. 67K to 50K, 67K to 57K. It's a huge difference, but guess what? In 3 years, you're not going to care. It's not going to be a big difference. Where'd you buy during the last bear market? Oh, I bought at 74K. Oh, I bought at 54K. We're both so smart. That's how it's going to feel. It's the same thing as like here, right? In the last bear market we had. Did you buy at 24K or did you buy at 18K? Of course, 18K is better, but you're both high-fiving each other. You're both smart. No, nobody's dumb. Even if you didn't buy the absolute low. I'm getting distracted. I'm on the 2-week time frame for a reason. And this is to help illuminate this idea that if you're not stacking cash, stacking Bitcoin, I think, is not a bad idea. Not just Bitcoin, but any crypto that you assume, you can assume that would see higher highs and growth going into the next cycle. Shout out to Bitcoin Cash, Onyx Coin, maybe Ethereum, Solana, right? Various cryptos in the top 100 as well. Dogecoin. I think Dogecoin's actually a really good place to accumulate, you guys. But I digress. We look at this here on the 2-hour time or the 2-week time frame, and we just look at our handy dandy oscillator here, our RSI. Okay. Every single time that we've been at this oversold point, every single time, has not marked a cycle low, but has been very damn well close to it, okay? Low there, low in the RSI, low there in the RSI, low here in the RSI. We still have 7 days and 9 hours left in this 2-week period. We can go lower, but already this is the lowest readings that we've ever seen for the 2-week RSI. So if we go lower, it's not going to be much lower. If in this next 7-day period we close this red and we're not getting this little hook here. We're not bouncing, right? It'll hook up if this 2-week period closes green. If it closes red, it'll still be pointing down. And I'm trying to put these lines right at that hook, right at that low point of the RSI. So even if we don't get it here, we're probably not going to go too much lower, right? Before we do get that hook, we might see some volatility in 2 weeks. You know, we might close the week green, but again, we could definitely see some volatility. If the next 2-week period is the one that closes green, we could go below 60K and still come up and close green. You know what I mean? Like, we can see volatility in 2 weeks' time. But the thought here is that even if this isn't the appropriate placement, then it would be this next week. So we'd be off by, or the next 2-week period. So we'd be off by 1 candle, whatever. It's not closed yet, but it's very, very, I think, appropriate to put this point here in conjunction with this and this. Don't they all look like they're symmetrical too, as far as time goes? Look at that. Look at the space in between. Obviously this space is bigger, I think, than the other two, but let's just see here. I'm kind of curious. We'll put the drawing tool on there. Let's see. Come on. Oh, there we go. Boom. And then this one here. And then this one here. I'm not even looking at the numbers, so you guys are seeing that before me. 96, 93, 102. Pretty close, guys. Pretty damn close together. It's a 2-week period, so it's a lot of time between 93 and 102 bars, okay? But still, right? The difference there being 1,300 to 1,400 days. So it's a significant difference, right? Like over a quarter of a year's in difference. But still, even from the lowest to the highest, that range is pretty damn tight. I'm even curious here. I wonder, from this low point to over here, how many days is that? 84 or 84 candles. It's a little bit of an outlier, but also we didn't get oversold here. I just want to reference the low from 2015 and onward, okay? Now we apply this to the price. Was this the low in 2015? It was. It was the low. We did not go any lower. In fact, what we did was we moved sideways from January until August. For 8 months, we moved sideways. We broke out, we broke down, and what we found was a double bottom. And then we moved up. The bear market officially ended here. The very first instance we have of this, that was the end of the bear market. The bull market didn't start just because the bear market ended. No, we had a crab market for about 3/4 of a year. But then we started our bull market. Oh, so slowly. And then all of a sudden at once. Here, on this next attempt where the hook came in, this was, again, the end of the bear market. It was the low. Which is wild, man. It's wild. Was that the beginning of the bull market? No. December 2018. We didn't start moving up until April 2019. So that was like 5 months later. Still, though, not that wasn't that long, right? That's not a whole lot of time. It wasn't a bad idea to start accumulating Bitcoin at either of these points, is what I'm getting at, right? Last cycle, was this the end of the bear market? No. We had more downside to go. But here's the catch, okay? Where here we ended the bear market. Where here we ended the bear market. And then we were boring. And then we were boring. And then we were exciting. And then we were exciting. Here we did the same thing, just a little bit different. We didn't end the bear market. But we were boring. We were boring. Whenever the bear market was at its end, we didn't have a long, boring period. When the actual low came in, we didn't have this long, boring period. Why? We already had it. And just thinking about this prospectively, you guys, I'm very much gaining confidence. And I again, shout out to Go Anders. You know who you are. That conversation was really good yesterday, and I've been looking at this chart specifically. I really don't believe that we have too much lower to go, you guys. And I very much believe that if you're buying here Like if you have any capital at all, if you're buying here, stacking Bitcoin, stacking cash right now is not a bad thing to do, right? If you're stacking cash, that's great. The goal in mind would be not to buy a lower low. At least for me, if I was stacking cash right now, I wouldn't be buying. This is not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if this is what I was doing, if I was stacking cash right now and not Bitcoin, I would not be looking to buy below this low. I'd be looking to buy below these lows. As soon as any, because again, I don't assume from here we're going to be moving up or moving down. We go back to this 2 week time frame, right? Anytime that we've gotten here, hold on, let me just back it all out. Anytime that we've gotten to this point, on the RSI, we did not move up and kick off a bull market right then and there, right? Here, this took about 5 months, 6 months. Here, this took about 3/4 of a year before the bull market kicked off. Last cycle, it was June. We didn't kick off the bull market until January, about another half year, okay? Here we are at this low. That was February. That was the middle of February, okay? 6 months later from February puts us in July, right? No, August. August. That's right, August. Which August has been the month. I've specifically been saying July, August, September, Q3 would be the time frame that we find our low. But August specifically is the month that I think that we find our low, you guys. And I derive that from this kind of connotation of the timing of the consolidation and when we found our lows, whatever. But also the fact that August for the last 2 years has not been a good month either, right? Everybody expects September to be a bad month. It's really not that bad of a month. August was the bad month the last two years. And I think this August will be no different. I think that might be, but it could be July. But July, August, September, February is whenever we found this low here in the RSI. And it might not be exactly like this, but I'm assuming that we don't have too much lower to go. So again, here we are at 67.3K. If you're stacking Bitcoin, great. This is probably a generational moment to actually acquire. But if I was stacking cash, and I am, I would be looking to buy not below this low. I'm confident we go below this low, but I would be looking to start DCAing in below this low. When I buy, I'm not just going to ape in all at once. Okay? I'm going to take a nibble. It comes back up. Once it goes below that low, I'm going to take another nibble. It comes back up. Once it goes lower, I'm going to take another nibble. And maybe in 3 spurts, that's how I'm going to get in. And if we go lower, who cares? If you bought up here and the low was all the way down here and you just aped in up here, guess what? You might care a whole lot in this moment. But give it 5 months, you're not going to care at all. It's not going to matter. So again, tomato, tomato, potato, whatever. Don't listen to me. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Do whatever you want. It's a great time to buy. Going back to this 2 week idea. We look at the stochastics. I mean, we're oversold, and it's not really as consistent, but every time that we've seen the end of our bear markets has been whenever we were oversold, right? So we are definitely in the ends of our bear markets. From a price perspective and a time perspective, we're very close. I don't really know what to make of the MACD, so we won't go with that, but I don't think I really have anything else to say anyways, man. I'm going to do one more thing, and then we can wrap this up. Low to high here. We're not going to take the fake out high here. During the last cycle, you did go just below your 382. Okay. Maybe I should be taking it from the COVID crash. Let's just see. I mean, right there at the 0.5, to be fair. I mean, maybe that is appropriate. Because we did have a kind of like long, boring moment here. This was the beginning of this move. Maybe I should measure it that way. And the fact that we found support at the 0.5 is very serendipitous because we actually found a lot of significance all the way up and even on the way down here at the 0.5 at various fib levels. I know you guys know what I'm talking about. If you've been following the channel, I know you know what I'm talking about. I don't think anybody else has really noticed that. But here, the 382. Found direct support at the 382. So the 382, the 0.5, okay. Okay, that's the last 2 bear cycles. We take this low here. We take this high here. Again, not the fake out high. We're not even at the 382, but where is that 382? It's at $55,000. The lowest that I could see us go by this analysis then would be 43.6K, but again, I highly doubt it. I highly doubt that we go that low, personally. The 382 is right there at 55.7K. I wonder if it lines up with anything here. It's also the golden ratio. Look at that. The 1618's right there, guys. If you've been watching my channel for a month, let alone for years that it's been out, you know, just as well as I do, that we do not expect to find direct support at the 382. Unless we're in like a very, very, very powerful move, then we expect to find support at the 382. Well, watch this. I wouldn't be surprised if we did. Let's actually see here. I hope this is a good example. Look at that. We pinpoint accurate found support directly there at the 382, a little bit above it, but we had that proper reaction. We only expect to see this kind of behavior in a very powerful move. Doesn't mean that it has to happen that way, but typically that's whenever you get direct support off the 382. No, with the 382, most commonly what we see is you wick a little bit below it. You wick a little bit below it. You don't typically hold it directly as a line, but the area nonetheless. That's how the 382 behaves typically, okay? Pair that with this from our most recent kind of influx here, our flux, focal point from a low to a high, our most recent kind of setup. If you were to measure for extensions, low to high, your golden ratio extension is right there, you guys. It's right there. It's right below the 382. I'm very convinced at this point in time that not only do we not go below $50,000, but I think we're going to have a hard time even getting below 54K. And here we are at 67K, right? Again, the urgency there. If you bought at 67K right now, and 5 years from now we're at the midst of our next bear market, you're not going to feel dumb for buying here, right? You're really not going to feel dumb for buying here, let alone if we go lower. Anyways, I got nothing else to say. I'm repeating myself. This video went totally in a different direction than I meant for it to, but hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I think we are closer than it seems price-wise. I don't think that we're closer time-wise. And the thing is, I'm not the only person who thinks this. So before we go lower, we're going to have to convince people that the bear market's over. In order to do that, we're going to need higher highs. We're going to need to form some quote-unquote positive structure, and I think we have time to do that. I think between now and April, May, June, we are going to see more consolidation. And I specifically think May or even June, that'll be the time when we start to break out to the downside. It's not going to be aggressive. It's not going to be tenacious, but it will be discouraging. And sometime in July, August, September, we should find our low. Specifically in August is my call. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.